Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake you must avoid to build a successful personal brand. Now, if you're watching this, you saw the title, so you're probably here because you do want to build a successful personal brand. So let's start off first of all with why should you listen to me in the first place. Now, I'm Alessio, together with my business partner Brian, we built our own personal brand to more than 400,000 followers. This screenshot is actually already outdated at the time I'm recording this video because we are now currently sitting at more than 430,000 followers. And we grew this audience in just over 1 year. As you can see right here, we got more than 150 million views. So we know a thing or two about growing a personal brand. And not only that, we also managed to get to our first 6 figures in business in our first year, not really knowing even what we were doing, to be honest, just because we built this kind of audience, okay? And because we built our personal brand. So what will you get exactly from this video? First of all, as promised from the title, the biggest mistake to avoid when building your personal brand, but also I'm going to give you the exact 2 phases strategy that we are currently using at the time I'm recording this video to get to the point of building our own 7 figures personal brand. Now, with that being said, let's start off by saying, so what is this big mistake? What is the biggest mistake that you can do when building your personal brand? And it is trying to imitate these guys, okay? So if you're in the personal brand thing, you probably know at least one of them. So Ani Mangazzi, Alok Belmar, Daniel Dalen, which has been going crazy viral recently with his YouTube channel. And so what I want you to do is literally forget about these kinds of personal brand, because this is the biggest mistake that we see a lot of people doing in the first place whenever they try to start a personal brand, which is they try to imitate people like this. Okay, and so they listen to a lot of the advice that you find on the internet of like, the niche is you, build an authentic personal brand, and like just talk about the whatever. You can just go ahead and create vlogs like Ani Mangazzi or like a Daniel Dalen, in which you just like show whatever you're doing and like your day-to-day life. And here's the thing, okay? This does not work. And here's why, okay? Here's why and what you should do instead. So I'm not just going to tell you this is the big mistake and that's it, like go do something else. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and exactly what we did to get this kind of results again, okay? So the more than 400,000 followers and 6 figures in our first year in business. So here's the problem. Your life is not interesting enough. Sorry to break it to you. And to be honest, ours is not either, okay? And this is just like harsh truth that you have to accept, because this is the reason why you cannot really create a personal brand like these people right here, okay? They leverage the fact that they have a life that's so inherently interesting that whatever topic they talk about, you will listen to them. And you will listen to them because you aspire to be like them. You aspire to live their kind of lifestyle. And so if they even just talk about their viewpoint on the world, how they see things, how they think about things, it will always be interesting because you want to have their life, okay? So, again, this is what I'm saying. Why do we even watch these guys? Because they are in a desirable position in life, okay? Like, you dream to be like a Ani Mangazzi, like a Luke Belmar, like a Daniel Dalen, okay? Like, you dream of that lifestyle. And so because of that, you listen to them. But, again, like this desirable position in life, you are not there, and we are not there either. Again, like I'm saying this as someone that's also not in that position yet, okay? And so this is why I'm saying the biggest mistake you can do is try and imitate what these people with huge personal brands are doing right now. So, okay, with that being said, how did they get there in the first place? Because this is the question that you need to ask yourself. Now, a lot of people get this mistake, and this is actually, I think, a very common mistake that a lot of people do, which is they see what someone really advanced is doing at that specific time, and they try to imitate it to get to the same position. But the thing is, like, they did not start like that. None of them started like that, okay? And so it's kind of like the paradox of hearing, oh, every millionaire has 7 income streams. But the thing is, like, none of them started with 7 income streams because that just spreads your focus too thin. And so you just start with one single thing. And the same exact thing goes here with building your personal brand. You see what these people are doing right now, but you forget that they did something very different before doing it, before doing what they're doing right now, which is just like basically documenting their life. So the solution, and this is exactly what they did before to get to that position and what you should do too, which is they started from phase one of a personal brand, which I'm going to break down for you. So this is literally the same phase that we used to do exactly what I showed you. So grow a huge audience on IG, so more than 400,000 followers. Again, like this is just like, I know that it might sound like a crazy number, and to be honest, now it's almost natural to us. It's almost normal. It's like, this is just like where we got, and it almost feels like an everyday thing. But I know that for some of you hearing this, like 400,000 followers is huge, it's crazy, but I'm telling you, it's not. It's not that difficult if you follow the steps that I'm about to give you to get to this kind of results. Again, then, get our first 6 figures, and it's literally something that anyone can replicate. And this is what I'm going to explain to you in this video step by step. I'm going to give you a full breakdown of exactly the steps that you need to follow to build a personal brand like ours that will actually get you results and not fall in the trap of trying to build a personal brand like these huge influencers, personal brands, however you want to call them. So here are the 2 different phases. We call them the expert brand, okay, and the identity brand. And again, this is where they all fall right now, okay? They are building, and I'm going to break this down a little bit more in depth in a bit, but they are building a personal brand around their identity, who they are right now. What you need to do, and so here is you, but it's also us. It's also us for the phase that we're in right now. You should build a personal brand on your expertise, not your identity, because you're not in that phase, in that position in life yet. So, what is an expert brand, and how do you build one? Okay, let's start first of all by defining an expert brand. So what we define as an expert brand is a brand based on one specific skill that you have, aka a niche, okay? A lot of people like to call it a niche. I think it's much easier and much more understandable for you to just define it as a specific skill that you have, okay? And why? Again, because this is what allowed us to get this kind of results, okay? So like 400,000 followers on Instagram, 6 figures in business in our first year. And again, I'm telling you this, and I know that to some of you, like this will sound like a big number. It's nothing. I promise you, it's nothing. Because like we had no clue of what we were doing. We managed to do this just because we followed these exact steps. We created our expert brand. And so even with getting a lot of stuff wrong that I'm actually going to give you in this video, the step-by-step also of how you can actually monetize your personal brand. And I'm going to make you skip and avoid all the mistakes that we did. But we fucked up a lot of stuff in the monetization part. And still we managed to hit 6 figures in our first year. We were just like 2 kids not knowing what the fuck we were doing, to be honest, okay? So I'm telling you, this is not hard if you nail down this and you go with the expert brand. And this is why, like, this is why you should create an expert brand. Because also, again, like third point, literally anyone can replicate it. And I will explain to you how in a second, okay? So how are we going to do this, okay? I've built for you this part right here, and I want you to pay close attention. This is the applicable. This is the part of the video in which I'm going to give you the nitty ingredient, like exactly what you need to do. So these are the 4 pillars of an expert brand. Now, first of all, first step, and this is also really important because a lot of people kind of miss this point, okay? So you need to pick your topic or expertise. So what I was saying, what some people call the niche, if you want. And so it could be, you know, fitness, finance, or, you know, content, filmmaking, whatever it might be, okay? Like our expertise is content. Now, here I want to make something very, very clear, and this is the expert fallacy, okay? Because what you're probably thinking right now, okay, for most of you, this will be the situation. You're probably thinking, that sounds cool, but I'm no expert. I am not like that good at something that I feel like I could teach it to someone. And here's the thing, okay? You just need to be a few steps ahead of someone to teach them, okay? Because here's the thing, there is probably something in which you're better than average. And that's it. And so like a classic example that I can give you, it's like, if you go to the gym and you work out and you have a decent physique, okay? You're not Mr. Olympia. You're not like the biggest bodybuilder that there is on earth. You can still teach someone that's just starting out. You can still help them avoid the mistakes that you did when you first started out. And so I want you to see your expertise as like a scale, let's say. And so it's like, let's say that you have this scale that is, I don't know, like from 1 to 10, okay? I don't know if these are 10, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's say that a complete beginner or an average person is here, okay? And you are even just here, okay? And the maximum expert in the world on this topic is here, okay? Here's the thing. First of all, you can still teach this person a lot of stuff. And second thing, and this is actually the funny thing, this person is much better off learning from you than from someone that's here most times. Because someone that is here does not remember the first steps that they took. And oftentimes, it's not even relatable, okay? Like this person here sees this and they are like, I can't even imagine being in this position. And so, okay, I will actually make you a very clear example. If you see me talking about Instagram growth, okay? And it's like, I am here right now because I have 400,000 followers, okay? And you're here, you have 0 followers, let's say. And this person right here has like 20,000 followers, okay? You'll probably perceive this as much more likely to happen for you than this. Like 400,000 will probably sound unreal, even though it's not, okay? As I already said, it's not. You can actually do it, but that's besides the point. Like, I want you to just like think about it this way. Like, if you picture this, it's much easier for you to picture yourself as this person who's a few steps ahead. And so because of that, okay, and I'm going to just like clean up the board real quick because I made a bit of a mess, but, and just to make you understand that you don't need to be a crazy advanced expert to teach anything, okay? You just need to be a little bit above average in that thing. And so again, you can do that in fitness, but there's probably like, for any of you, like fitness is just an example because I go to the gym, and so it's just like the first thing that comes to my mind. But this applies literally to anything. Anything that you're decently good at, you probably can teach an average person because you're better than them. And so this is the first and really important thing. Like, this is why I spend so much time on this, because it's really important that you understand it. Because a lot of people have the misconception of, oh, I can't really start a personal brand. I wouldn't know what to talk about, okay? And here's your thing, again, like what you're pretty good at. That's it, like that's all you need. You need to be pretty good at something and you can teach it, okay? So, with that being said, let's go to the second pillar, okay? Which is pick your platform, okay? Personal brand means creating content, and it also means inevitably that you need to choose a platform. Now, here is why we believe and we push so much for the idea of going with Instagram. Now, I've selected, of course, these 3 because they are the 3 main platforms for content that pretty much everyone is on. I mean, TikTok now had some issues, but it's back. So what I want to tell you is this. TikTok, it's probably like the lowest conversion app that you can possibly create content in. And so like, if you know a thing or two about business, like you probably notice this, you don't buy a lot of stuff out of TikTok. It's like, it's not the same. Like you perceive someone on Instagram as much more of an expert than someone on TikTok. And so it's like, TikTok is much more for entertainment. And like, there have been like, I'm not saying this just because like we do Instagram, but like, you can even see there's like Alex Hormozi talking about this, in which he tested out like all the different platforms. He posts content on everything, and like TikTok was by far the lowest converting one. So it's like, I would probably not go with TikTok because of that. And if you think about it, it's just like Instagram is just a completely different feel. You perceive someone as much more of an expert if you see them having a really big audience on Instagram. And now, at the same time, you might think then YouTube is even better because, of course, like if I see someone creating long-form content, like the video that you're watching right now on YouTube, then they are usually considered as like really expert. Like they can make 20 minutes video that are really insightful on a specific topic, and inevitably like you trust them also much more. But here's the thing, it's incredibly difficult. And I'm telling you while I'm making this video, okay, so I'll break the fourth wall right here. It's incredibly difficult to make these videos. You need a lot of experience. You need to be really good at talking to the camera. This video right now, other than this board that I have, is completely improvised. It takes a lot of effort. Whereas on Instagram, the way that we film our videos as well, is just like we have a script and we just read it to the camera. It's super easy. Anyone can do it. I promise you, you can do it. And so that's why we consider Instagram to be by far the best platform, and we will always suggest you to start your personal brand by creating content on Instagram, and then eventually get to the point of also going on YouTube, but that takes much more time. Like we did 1 year of just Instagram, okay? We didn't even touch YouTube. And then now we're evolving and also creating content on YouTube, but that's kind of like for the second phase, okay? So the third The third part is to build your content funnel. So you make your content on your expertise. You also need to monetize, okay? Eventually you will need to monetize. That's kind of the goal, I'm guessing, with your personal brand. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here watching this video. So here's the thing, and this is kind of the motto that we give to also all the people that we coach. Your content is broad, your funnel is narrow. Here's the thing, okay? Unless you are in like super crazy specific niches and you have a super crazy specific offer, which most times, especially if you're just starting out, it doesn't have. Like, and this is also like something that a lot of people mess up, okay? I want to make this very clear. This is kind of like, I think, the most important thing. When you create your content, you cannot try and target a hyper-specific person because that's not how it works, okay? So I will actually, okay, let's do this right here. So I will actually tell you also in this video and explain you real quick how the algorithm of Instagram works, okay? You have your piece of content right here, and Instagram sends this piece of content to a bunch of random people, okay? So let the first, usually like, I don't know, 300, 1,000 people, okay? These random people, okay? And they test out the content on these people. And they see, and Instagram sees how they react, and based on that, it decides if to push it to an even wider audience, okay? So even more people. And that's how videos actually go viral, okay? So instead of having like, you know, here the 4 people, you have whatever, like this. My drawings are terrible. Anyway, so this is how the algorithm works. And because of that, if in the beginning Instagram just takes 300 random people, you can't have a content that's like super, super specific, because otherwise, out of the 300 people, probably no one or maybe just a few of them will interact well. And so Instagram will be like, you know what? People are not really liking this video, so I'm not going to push it to even more people. Whereas if you create a content that's really broad in appeal, okay? And there's a fine line between this. Of course, you don't want to just go entertainment, because like we're still creating educational content to help people, okay? But at the same time, you want to keep your content as broad as possible and for it to be as helpful as possible for, you know, a really broad audience, because that way your video can reach many more people. And because of that, it's much more likely to go viral. Then your funnel is narrow, okay? This is the important part. When you're actually then trying to sell whatever offer you want to sell to people, you make that really specific, because that way, you know, you have, and this is like also something that I want to give you as like quick math to kind of prove my point. Let's say that your video is specifically targeting one kind of person, okay? And so because of that, it reaches, let's say, 1K views, okay? And let's say that out of that 1K views, 10% are, you know, your ideal customer, okay? Because it's really, really specific, and so the percentage is really high. Whereas if you made the video super broad, maybe, okay, it got 1 million views. And of course, at this point, if it's broader, it might not reach like your specific, it might not talk to your super specific kind of audience, kind of target avatar that you want to sell to. And so maybe that percentage will be 1% instead of 10%, okay? The absolute number is still much higher here, okay? I can actually do the math, okay? but it's like, you know, like this will be 100 people, and this will be 10,000 people, okay? So it's like, if you're making, and here I'm talking about, here this is the example of a video that's like super specific, and it just talks to your target avatar. And again, because of that, maybe a big percentage of those people are your target avatar, because like this is a huge percentage, okay? But still, the absolute number is much lower than a video that goes crazy viral and maybe has a much lower percentage of people that are your exact target avatar, okay? The absolute number is still much bigger, and so that's why your content should be broad. Then your funnel is narrow, okay? Your offer is very specific. You just help X kind of person achieve this kind of result. The same way that, for example, for us, our offer, and this is not to just like sell you the offer, but it's just to give you the example. Our offer is we help business owners, people that have some kind of offer to build, you know, their personal brand, build traffic that they can use to funnel it then towards their offer. And it's like, we don't help everyone. We don't help people that have, for example, faceless pages. That's not the kind of people that we help, because we are really specialized in people that want to build their personal brand and already have an offer in place and they have a business in place. Okay, so it's like, then in our funnel, we specify who we help, because that way it's like, it's much easier to sell, because like our offer is made specifically for you. It's not for everyone and like whoever. But the content, we keep it broad because that way our videos have upwards of 40 million views. Okay, you can actually check this if you go on our profile on Instagram. You will see it. We have one of the pinned videos that you will see that has 40 million views. It's like that's not possible if you go like hyper specific on, you know, a very specific kind of target avatar. And so like that's you risk ending up here. So with that being said, and this is kind of like the content funnel. So again, like your content is broad, your funnel is narrow. You have a specific offer to serve a specific kind of person, but your content should be broad enough to actually reach a lot of people. Because again, like also the thing that a lot of people don't consider is if you get this kind of results and your personal brand has, you know, like 300,000 followers and there's another person that has 1,000 followers, it's like the perception that people have of it, it's completely different. I promise you, if you see two accounts that have the same exact offer then in their funnel, okay? And of course, like here I'm talking about the same exact offer, but one has 1,000 followers and the other one has 300,000 followers. Who would you go with? Like, it's just, I think it's a natural conclusion. So this is why it's so important and it's so crucial for you to understand this step as well. Now, last step, okay? It's create your product, okay? So this will actually be your offer. If you have no clue on your offer, you don't have an offer in place yet, here's exactly what I would do, okay? You either go free or you go high ticket. And I know this will sound crazy to some of you. You will be like, what? How does that even make sense? How can you go either free or high ticket? But here's the thing, okay? And this is what we messed up. When we first started out, we tried to sell low ticket products. We tried to do like the communities that were like, you know, 30 bucks a month or whatever. And it's like everyone sells you on like, oh, super cool monthly recurring revenue by building this kind of it's like, trust me, that stuff doesn't work. You will not make a lot of money if you do that. It's just, it doesn't work, trust me, from experience, because we tried it all. We tried digital products, we tried, you know, paid communities, and then we tried high ticket. And that's what got us to our actual 6 figures and got us like real results. Now, here's the thing. If you're just starting out, you never did this in your life, okay? And so like this, I'm saying this because as I was saying, like I think this applies also to someone that's completely starting from zero, because as I was saying, you just have something that you're pretty good at, okay? That's all you need. So if you're just starting out, you never did any kind of service, any kind of offer, like you never actually try and tested out this offer that you're going to give to people, then you go free. You go free. You just test it out on some people, you know, you build your personal brand and then you test it out on some people. So I will just give you an example. Let's say that you're a fitness coach. I just take the example of fitness because it's the simplest one. But let's say that you want to create content on fitness, okay? You start making your content on fitness, you grow a little bit of an audience, and then you can just like put out some stories or some posts in which you're like, hey, by the way, I'm helping, you know, 3 people get their dream physique in the next few months. If you're interested, just message me. And then you just like get a bunch of people to show you interest. You just select a couple of people that you feel like they can actually get the results because they are like super motivated. You help them for free. You have your testimonials, okay? You have proof that what you teach and what you do actually works. And then you can start selling it as high ticket, okay? And I don't know what that was, to be honest. So you can just sell it as high ticket, okay? And you can do coaching. In general, and this is the thing, like do info products. That's like either info products or services if you want to build out more of an agency model, but those are like what I would say the go-to for anyone that's just starting out because they have like huge profit margins, pretty much no downsides. Again, as long as, of course, you can provide results. And this is why you start free. If you don't have any proof that you can do what you're doing and like you never actually tried out to teach whatever skill you have to people, you start out for free. If you already have some kind of proof, you have, you know, some kind of testimonials, you try it out and you got results to someone, then go high ticket, okay? Now, if you're interested a little bit more into the monetization aspect, we can make a video that's a little bit more in depth, in which we can also go a little bit more in depth, especially in why the other models don't work as well as high ticket and kind of like the mistakes that we did and exactly step by step what you should do to monetize your personal brand. So let us know in the comments if you're interested in that. Now, with that being said, one last thing that I wanted to add And this is, I think, the reason, and the really important reason why I want you to understand why we put out two phases on this, which is ultimately, if you start to build your personal brand, especially with this approach of going into a niche and like going into your expertise, leaning onto your expertise to build out your personal brand, some of the objections or the things that might come to your mind is, oh, but I don't want to be boxed in my niche forever, which is like, I get it. It's like, do I want to talk about Instagram for the next 20 years of my life, 30 years, 40 years? I don't know. I don't think so. Eventually, I will get a little bit bored of it because it's like, you know, I don't want to talk about X forever, okay? Whatever the X might be for you. It's fitness, it's Instagram, it's whatever. And this is why we really identify this as like two phases. And this is literally what these people did. Because think about it, okay? Iman Gadzhi, all cool. Now he makes vlogs about his life, okay, and whatever. But how did it start? He was just talking about agencies. He was just talking about the agency model. This was his expertise. And this is what I'm trying to make you understand here, that it's really important, and I don't want you to make this mistake. Same thing goes for these guys, okay? What did Luke Belmer first did? E-commerce and crypto, like this was his thing. He was just focused on that. Now he's building a personal brand, a huge personal brand that revolves around his identity, okay? He lives your dream lifestyle, and because of that, he can just talk about the whatever, and you will pay attention. And he's building out, all of these different things, because now he has, Capital Club, and he has a bunch of other things. Same exact thing goes for Iman, okay? And then he has like, his physical brand products. He has Gadzhi, he has Big Day, and like I'm mentioning all of this. I'm hoping you can follow along. If you don't know Iman Gadzhi, I don't know what to tell you. You will need to watch some of his videos to understand what I'm talking about. But basically, he's building all of these other brands that revolve around his identity, okay? So he's not just talking about the agency model now anymore. And the same exact thing goes for a Daniel Dahlen, okay? So like, now you see him making vlogs on YouTube in which he just shows his day-to-day life. But why do you watch those? Because it's fucking interesting, okay? He makes millions, but he made millions with e-commerce first. He leaned into his expertise first, which was e-commerce. And then they are building out now their identity brand, which is phase 2, which is what eventually we will also get to, which I think is like the phase of the personal brand in which you really go from the 7 figures to the 8, 9 figures, and you can build anything revolving around that. So this is it for this video. I hope it was very clear, the explanation that I gave. I hope it gave you some insights. I want to let you know that if you want to work directly with us to grow your personal brand, you will just find a link in the description in which you will see our one-on-one coaching program. I don't know if it will be open at the time I'm recording this video. There might be a wait list. So, just check out the link in the description. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next video.